Hi, my name is Manpreet Singh and welcome to my YouTube channel. This channel focuses on real estate and mortgage insights. This channel aims to empower viewers with the knowledge to make informed decisions in the real estate market. Please subscribe to stay informed about the Canadian real estate market. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Due Chowdhury, who is a realtor in the GTA market. Due, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course.
I'm going to start off with a few questions and take the conversation from there.
Of course, yeah. No
My
problem.
first question is, how long have you been in the business and what exactly inspired you to join real estate?
Business, it's over 9 years since 2015, if I do my math right. It's been 9 years. Okay, so starting prior to joining real estate, I always have a passion about, real estate in terms of buying, selling, and seeing a couple of positions that I did at the bank. One of the positions was small business advisory, where I do small business commercial lending.
Right.
I had the privilege of meeting all walks of lives, a lot of entrepreneurs and different types of entrepreneurs, from a dentist, lawyers, to all the way to trade guys, right? What made me realize when I was doing that for the banks, where I'm looking at their checks, and this is actually money right here, looking at their checks, 10, 15, 20, 30, $40,000, I'm releasing those checks.
Yep.
And here I'm thinking, okay, I'm only getting XYZ amount of money from the bank and I'm flourishing for the bank. I was top in Ontario. Why can I not take a leap of faith and go 100% commission income? Now, I still didn't have that faith. I left the bank in 2011 from Scotiabank and joined CIBC in Toronto. And at that point, my wife currently, she was my girlfriend at that point. She's like, why are you working for the bank? Why don't you just do your own thing? I didn't listen to her. I said, no, I like my 9 to 5 structured pay. The $1,400 or $1,200 payment you're getting every bi-weekly. I'm good. I'm settled.
Yeah.
But I think my first daughter was about to be born. I had some challenges with with financially, of course. And at that point, I decided, you know what? I'm going to take a leap of faith. So I left the bank. My wife is pregnant.
Wow.
She's working 2 jobs, HR for Costco and HR for Teva Pharmaceutical, 75 hours a week. I quit her to her with the big belly.
Wow.
And here I am studying real estate course.
So there was a lot of risk involved.
Absolutely.
And then you took your risk and then it finally paid off.
It finally paid off. To be honest with you, it also needed that leap of faith and needed that extra, like some sort of inspiration from your back. Okay, I'm not going to be able to make this. I got to do something else. So I went ahead it where 6 months I had no job, studied as hard as I could. And I went my first test. I missed at Sheridan College by 1 minute because I showed up late and they wouldn't let me in.
Wow.
I drove to London, Ontario to do my course, to do my first one because I didn't want to wait anymore. So I did it, and so I drove 3 hours to go and do my test at I think Western University. I did my test, first one, and then I just so on and so forth. The reason I'm bringing that to you guys' attention, perhaps, what drives you, what inspires you. For me, I think I hit rock bottom financially, and I also felt like I can build something. I can build an empire. And I didn't know where I am today. I did not know that. I just knew that, okay, I could do a little better than banking.
Yeah.
And from that point, this is where I am, to be honest with you. Now, those who didn't know me, my background, 16 years old when I first came to this country in 1997. 1999, I started my first job as a dishwasher. So from a dishwasher to a multi-million-dollar realtor, that's how I look at it. We all have a story to tell. You have yours and I have mine. So, new immigrant to the country, little did I know English, but my biggest motivation was the way you're speaking or the Canadians are speaking, because I was in Greek area in East York, where I went to school. So a majority is Greek kids. If they're saying hi to me, I can only say hello. I couldn't really speak to a degree where I am today. So I decided the school put me on I think it was 8 courses. 6 of them are ESL.
Wow.
And 2, because of my math background and science background, so they put me in a science and a math, whatever. But after that year doing that, and I think I did really well. But my biggest thing is I want to speak just like you, just like the Canadians. So I said I'm going to do 10 words every day, and I'm going to write them 100 times. So 10 words every day, 100 times. That was my determination to be able to speak and lingo with the Canadians. Now, get this. For you, maybe it doesn't make sense. For you, like, what is this guy talking about? I'm telling you, if you put your mind into anything, you will be able to succeed. Doesn't matter the obstacles that life brings you. It's all about just going back to the basic. I want to do it. And if you have the energy and the fire, you'll do it. So that's kind of my story, man. So where I started, and you know, I'm in high school, dishwashing job, got some doughs coming in my pocket. I was able to get my first cell phone. And here I am today after doing odd jobs and banking career and real estate. And now I have pretty settled real estate team. I know. So those who are out there trying to say, oh, this is this environment, this and that, don't let this negative energy, block you. In a sense, what I mean by block the negative energy, but don't let the negative energy bring you down. Block the energy and just focus on what you want to focus on. And if you're going to have one or two things, take one or two things. Don't think that you're going to be able to accomplish 10 things at the same time. It's impossible. We're human, and we all think differently. We have 10 fingers. But the way I think, the way you think, the way the other thinks is very different. So respect everybody else's how they're thinking and where they're coming from. But at the same time, have your mission to accomplish. Be focused.
That's really inspiring. And once you decide something you want it to badly, you will find a way.
Of course.
So coming back to the current market trends and the real estate market, there was recently a news that the Canada is going to cut down immigration for the next 3 years. What impact do you think it will have on the real estate market?
I think a lot of the developers and builders, I would say, they actually went with the data that was provided by the government and started doing their due diligence to get those things on the ground, get things rolling, break the ground. That's right. Now, this definitely puts an impact, but at the end of the day, we already grew by quite a few millions, overall. That's right. So I think if not, we haven't seen, I think we started seeing, there's a lot of reduction on the condo market is crazy at this point. It is over inventory or supply is insane at this point. We're looking at over, I think, 9,000 condo units out there. That tells you one thing. We already lost our investors. Our investors are not in the market.
That's true.
And they're about to sell it for any price and get out. And there are a few reasons. One of the reasons would be stability of the economy, stability of their political game in this country. And I'm not going to get into politics by any means. You guys probably know me already by looking at my Instagram, what I do and how I say it. But I'll say this, is that also our fiscal policies by the government of Canada, Bank of Canada, sorry, this all makes an impact. So if you look at all of that, and you say, okay, well, sit down here. Okay, we're now cutting down. You promised me you're going to have 750,000 coming. I'm just giving an example. I don't know what the numbers looks like now. But now you're going to bring it down to 400,000. That's a reduction of 250,000. A lot of the builders and developers out there and the other stakeholders made decision based on the numbers the government provided 2 years ago, for example. So now it's going to impact their bottom line. It's going to impact a lot of projects on hold. If not, a lot of projects already on hold because of interest rate, because of there's no confidence in the market. I personally know a lot of projects already gone sour as well, and there's about to be a lot more. What will happen is this: your rental market will go insane. The ownership will be reducing regardless. Unfortunately, regardless of what this happens with the interest rate, it will take a lot longer time to come back, the confidence come back in the market. So you will see there's a lot more renters than an owner. Now, also dealing with different types of segments of cycles of people. So millennials, Gen Zs, they love vacationing. They love beautiful things. In a sense where they want to see nice scenery. They love traveling. So to get to their sort of thought process, it requires a little bit more. Also, what it happens is millennials are getting benefit from the baby boomers. For example, baby boomers are retiring right now. So a lot of the millennials are living in the basement still. If you think about this for a second.
That's true.
A lot of the millennials are still living in the basement. 35 years old, 40 years old is still living in a basement. What does it tell you? That tells you one thing. The house that was, or a property that was probably 300,000 back then when the baby boomers were bought, or maybe 200,000. Now it's sitting at 1.3, 1.4. None of them can actually manage to even perhaps come up with the 20%. Now that we have this 1.5 million with the CMSC new program that's coming, hopefully it will help a little bit, in my opinion. But many of it, you and I know already, is the mama and papa giving gifts for them to even afford that 20%, if you think about this.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's a mindset. So I think the millennials are slowly getting help from the parents to have a sense of ownership. Gen Zs are still in, and if you're Gen Z, please don't take me in a different way. You are still in the bubble mode where, like, I don't know if I want to own. I don't know if I want this headache of paying a mortgage, paying this. Like, in their mentality, they still are thinking, I want to travel. I want to explore with my partners. Dog is my biggest thing I'm going to have, or the pets. Really, that's their. So that mindset will change at some point as we progress. But we are still dealing with the daunting moments of the millenniums, or they're still living in parents' basement and having a wife or significant other and having their kids in the basement. That is something the government still hasn't been able to come up with a solution, and we cannot, unfortunately. Our real estate valuation gone so high, unless there's a drastic things happen like 2008 recession, all-time recession, if you will, then maybe the house value will come down, and maybe there will be a chance for millenniums. Otherwise, mama papa has to give gift money for them to be able to afford and buy something.
That's why we see a lot of first-time home buyers in the age of 35 or low 30s or even high 30s. So that's a very common trend that we are seeing for the first-time home buyers when we
because you're looking at the age, they have 2 kids already, and they're still living with the parents.
Just living with the
right?
parents.
Like, it's thank God for the parents, to be honest with you. But what did they do to deserve you to be in their basement with the 2 kids? They raised you well. They gave you good protection. They gave you good stability. But unfortunately, our Canadian society, economy, and our politicians failed us.
That's true. That's true. I was going to come back to the Ontario landlords and the real estate investors. There's a very common issue that they face with the landlord-tenant board.
Sensitive
how long
subject.
it takes. So
depends who you talk to. Which side, tenants or the landlords? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I completely agree. So if you let's say if you talk about the landlords and the investors, right? They face a lot of issues, and we all know this. So what are the precautions, or what are the extra due diligence that the investors or the landlords can do to make sure they're putting in the right person and the property?
A lot. And I can go at it with a few pointers, but I'll first tell you, if I'm not making a mistake, and I think non-payment of rent, do you know how many millions we're sitting at?
I have no idea, but I'm guessing it's a lot.
It's, I believe, over $144 million non-payment of rent. I'm not talking about Canada, guys. I'm talking about Ontario alone.
Wow.
That's shocking.
So people are abusing the system.
Of course. I'm going to have to correct myself whether it's a 122 or 144. It's around that. I have it on my thing. I'll actually share that with you guys. But that's just crazy.
That's crazy, yeah.
So think about how many landlords, whether small or big, are going to court. And who's failing us? It's our LTV. If you go to Alberta, we don't have that problem.
That's true.
We don't. So I think, and I don't want to be negative, I just want you guys to know that the amount of non-payment out there. But here's, and like you said, you touched on something, is people abusing the system. I think there are some. I'm not going to put all of them, because there's some good tenants, to be honest with you. There are also some bad landlords. Let's double educate for them, because there are some bad landlords.
100%.
Right? Either they're ignorance, or they don't know the policies of how to act with it. So, you know what I'm saying? And this is when you actually seek for an advice, seek for guidance, right? Going back to your question, how do you, as a landlord, to know that you're getting good tenants? I think back in the days, you just get an employment letter, pay stubs, and credit report was all, and you just call the reference and it's done. That's not it anymore, guys. If you're doing that, you actually have to do a proper due diligence before you hire. If you're hiring a property management company, or if you hire a real estate team, please do a due diligence on them first. And again, no disrespect to any of this category. I'm a real estate agent myself. Just do a due diligence on them. Go and take a look at their Instagram, TikTok, if you have that platform, LinkedIn, and more importantly, also their Google reviews. We all know about Google reviews. Some of them can be fake. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
But take a look at all of that and have your instinct, your gut tells you something, go with that gut feeling, right? And if you know that, okay, I feel this person, I'm good. If anything, beyond that, you're giving your key to an agent or property management, you have not interviewed them. Yes, you're not selling your house. Yes, you're not buying a house, but you're giving them your multi-million-dollar or $500,000 property to somebody's hand to rent it out. You better know what they're doing. You better know what their background looks like. You better know their credibility.
Yeah.
Right? If you see them, they are XYZ, that tells you something. So it's very important that who you hire. It's like, oh, I'm hiring this person because he's my cousin, my sister-in-law, sister, my this. No, please. And if they're new to the industry, you want to give them an opportunity. If they're part of a team, it's amazing. If they're not part of a team, you're probably giving a rookie your house key, and you're probably going to be going to LTV very soon. And again, this is no disrespect to the new agent coming to the market. I'm just talking about experience itself. Now, if this new agent has been in the industry already in different ways and have the experience, it's perfect. Here's what you have to do in order to enhance your knowledge if you're a new agent, or even if you're doing it for a while. Guess what? I spoke to one of the agent the other day. I think he's about 10 years in the industry. Didn't know anything about single key.
Oh, okay.
So single key is a platform that we use to actually get an authentic credit report and a criminal background check, if any. And it's paid by either landlord or the tenant. And I believe it costs about $23 or $24. You as a tenant, you can give me your credit report, no problem. But I'm still going to do my third-party background check through single key. And you're welcome to do so as a landlord, as a tenant, as a property management. You can do that. And you can put that cost yourself if you feel like, or the tenant. It's your call. That gives you an authentic report. As you know, these days, anyone can own a PDF thing and they can change things. I'm not implying anything, guys, here, but I'm just telling you that you need to be very thoughtful about it. And that report alone tells you a lot. If a tenant right then and there say, hey, I'm giving you my report and I don't want you to take it. I don't want you to hit my credit. I'm so sorry, my friend.
That's a red flag.
That is a red flag right there. And it is a soft hit. It's not even a hard hit. Again, don't quote me on this. I'm just telling you, it is a soft hit. It's not so if they tell you, deny, so I don't want to do this, or I don't want to do it for $23, pay it from your pocket. Invest in this because you want to make sure this person is authentic. So that's one way. Employment letter, pay stubs, it's normal, to be honest. But just make sure for the employers, take a look at their Google review. Employment letter, if it gives an HR information, message them, because some of them actually requires just email them and they'll send you a thing. In and out, confirm the phone number, what shows up on the company website or Google, it should be on the employment letter. Unless it's a big company and they have the XYZ person working, don't take anyone's cell phone. It's got to be business phone number.
Yeah.
That's right. Those are the things you would do. And again, Google search them. If they have a rental application given you with an occupants, let's say mommy and daddy and then the two other adult, also take a look at the adult. You don't have to do a credit check on them because they're not on the lease, but do the due diligence on those two occupants. And if they're not minors, see what's going on their social media platform. And better yet, one step further. If you can, if you have the ability, go and visit the employer's address.
Yeah.
Go and visit the employer's address, see if it actually exists or not. Now, if somebody's biggest myth out there or misconception out there is rental application, they'll provide your landlord's name. And that landlord doesn't even own the property. Now, you as a property manager or a real estate agent should be able to find the ownership of who actually owns that property when it's on. So XYZ, let's say One Young, who owns it. Go on the Geo Warehouse, figure it out who owns it. And if that person's name does not match on the rental application, That's a red
Something's
flag
wrong.
right there.
Yeah.
Now, the biggest thing that you want to do is not the current landlord you want to interview. You want to do the previous one. Current landlord will tell you everything and anything to get rid of this tenant. But the previous landlord will tell you all the dirt about that tenant.
Yeah.
I hope I gave you guys a lot to work on this.
No, 100%. I think these are the extra steps that you can
These
take.
are the extra steps you have to take. And if your gut feeling says no, it's
Yeah.
absolutely no. And if any agent tells you, and make sure that you do this if you're doing it as a real estate agent, you have a clause on the Schedule A that you are taking the consent to do a credit report check and a background check. You make sure you sign, you get them to sign, otherwise you can be legally implicating yourself. And moreover, if they're pushing you and the agent's telling you, oh, my client wants to know decision within 5 hours, tell them, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Always do a conditional. You probably not heard this before. Any of my leads, my guys, my realtors from my team, it's always a 72 hours, 3 business days conditionally. Just like how you do buying and selling, you have conditions. I'll have conditions.
Yeah.
I will take 3 business days for conditions, and that's when we do our proper due diligence. We get this single key application done. We do the other background check. If we have to go to the employer's address, we will actually visit and do so.
It's really important to protect yourself from the bad tenants.
Correct. And this is when the landlords needs to know that who you're hiring. This paycheck of $1,500, it might not be a whole lot for a real estate agent. The work we do as an agent for getting a tenant, it's much more than selling a house, to be honest with you. But it's a part of our due diligence. It's part of growing our portfolio. We have to do it right. But if you have an agent just telling you, I got an offer, let's sign it right away, think twice.
That's true. So I was going to come back to the current market trend again. And as you heard with the last interest rate cuts, 50 bips last week. And then what I'm hearing from some people is that for us to see any change in the prices of the properties, it's going to take at least 12 months. What do you think about that?
I think if you, I'll echo that for sure. But let's go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Let's look at interest rates raised, like when they raised up constantly last year. What happened? How long did it take for us to actually come to what we are today? It took some time.
Yeah.
So if anything we learned from history is that what happens now, it takes minimum 6 months for that to actually impact us in our personal life, personal well-being. That's right. So 6 months is minimum to a year, and maybe even a year and a half, to be honest. So this spring market, a lot of them are talking about, oh my God, we're going to have a dope spring market. We are not going to. We're going to have a slow and steady. We're going to see a little bit of multiple bidding, a little bit of multiple offers happening, but to a degree where people are thinking, like how we had COVID time, 1.2 million, sold it for 1.7 million, 400,000 over asking. No, I think it's going to be slow and steady. And I think we owe to ourselves. This is the correction time we're going through.
That's true.
And there are some people are selling it for a much lower because they just can't deal with it, right? With the payments.
Yep.
And but I think if I been doing this for 9 years, seeing this in 2017 and 18, I can tell you that there's going to be a much slower recovery and than what it was before. But I also believe that, by end of 2026, definitely right now this quarter, if you're buying something, you're still going to be benefiting. I'm not saying it's not. What I'm trying to say, I think it's not going to be as aggressive as you think it would be. It would be slow and steady. But I think if you bought something for 1.2 million today, by this spring coming, it might be 1.225 or it might be 1.25, not 1.4. That's what I meant by 2026 last quarter. If you buy something the spring of 2026, it's going to be a dope market.
I think the number of transactions we're going to have in the spring market will be a little bit more than what we see in August or September this year.
Any indication that you see, like last year we had early this year, first 2 weeks of January was really strong. Was really strong in a sense, like activity wise. I'm not talking about dollar. Activity was aggressive. You will see that. You will see that coming this spring. But what I'm trying to say, you're not going to have you're going to have a lot of buyers coming in, but with caution. It's like, okay.
So no crazy bidding
No
wars
crazy
or-
bidding. That's what I meant by
yeah.
like, it's like, okay, before you even leave the house, the shed is sold. No, it can't happen. Like, can we actually at least, you're seeing a lot of this, like the entire year we went through a lot of conditions and an extension happening on the conditions as well. You just heard me earlier that I asked for 1 or 2 days extension, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's the same thing. We are working together, but this is the market I love. Even though many agents are leaving this industry right now, I think we lost about 16 or 2,000 recently. That's because they did not build their pipeline. They are not meant to be an entrepreneur. You have to have a solid background to do this. What I mean by background is look after your clients. You can't just do a Dollarama transaction in and out. You gotta. It's basically like you have a tree. You gotta water the tree.
True.
For the tree to grow. And you gotta make sure that you do that consistent basis. It's a similar scenario when it comes to a human being.
It's a long-term game.
It's a long-term game. For example, how many of you out there actually wish your past clients birthdays and anniversaries? Any of that? Maybe not. And that's the reason why they said top 5% is there for top 5%. We do all of those. How many of you believe that today I'm done with you and I'm not going to follow up within 30 days?
Yeah.
We do 17 touches a year, a client. Every client of mine gets a 17 touches. So whether they're, it's a Happy New Year, Canada Day, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Happy Birthday, Happy Anniversary, or this is a 1 year of your house, let me pop by and say something to you. Like all of that. So if you want to be successful in this industry, you have to do not just buy and sell. You have to do other human touches.
I think these are very important tips for new real estate agents.
Not just new, even the old ones, brother.
Even the old ones.
Because retention is the biggest things, right? You're in the industry of financials, right? If you're providing a product and for whatever reason the product wasn't right for that client, you think he or she's going to come back to you? No. So in order for you to uncover that, their ideal need, you have to ask those probing questions.
Yeah.
And what I mean by probing questions, you're nurturing that relationship. And that's what I mean by like when you water the plant, you consistently watering it, then it's blossom it, right? So you only see your end product, but that's not where it ends. How it is the lift come back every year, correct?
That's true.
Springtime lift come back. That's what you gotta do. Similarly, you gotta be touch base with your clients. And if you do that, my friend, you are never gonna have business running out of you. Retention, and give back. Biggest thing is we don't do is give back. We always just want to just keep everything in ourselves.
That's true.
Think about this world needs us. We need to be committed to changing our environment. We can make X, Y, Z, but out of that X, Y, Z, certain portion should go back to giving back to a community, whether it's financially or just volunteering. Whatever you can afford to do so, you should do so. It's gotta come from your soul. It's gotta come from your heart. If it doesn't, people know you're faking it.
That's true. I completely agree with it. It's really, really important to go back to the community and not just take everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, we live in a selfish world, brother.
Yeah.
We live in a complete selfish world. Even myself, I would say I'm selfish in some degree, I guess. I mean, those who know me, they know me very well. But I think it's important for us to because this is how you can actually flourish, and you can make a statement to your community, whichever your community is at, and people get to know that you are actually a genuine person. And more, I will tell you this. It's like medications. Some of us do not want to take medication. We want to go back to our old ancestors' remedies. So other day I put up this thing for, I think, cough. Cut up a red onion and put raw honey in it.
I watched your video, yeah.
Okay. And you know how many views I had? I had lots of views. Well, forget the views. It's the amount of interaction I had.
Yeah.
Oh, is this real? Is this real? Is this real?
Yeah.
So it's coming from someone they know that they can rely on. And they're like, okay, my daughter is so sick for the last 2 weeks. Did you just use red onion? Can I use a different onion? I said, red onion actually works the best. Honey, you should get raw, not the one, so like a pure raw. And I had so many conversations. And I think today morning, I think we got about 10 messages saying, thank you for making my daughter better.
Amazing.
That to me, I'm going to get blessing in a different ways, brother.
Yeah.
And so we owe to ourselves. Just like this, we got to help each other. We got to be there. And like I said earlier, it doesn't have to be financially. That right there, I helped the community. I helped so many kids. And kids are the biggest blessing you could do when you get them better.
And the video about the apple, I saw that one.
Yeah, and there's a little more of this coming.
Amazing. No, that's really amazing. Giving back to the community. And another thing I tell when I speak with a lot of real estate professionals is guiding the clients in the best interest for them, not for yourself. That's really, really important.
Of course.
For any real estate professional is to think about the client's benefit and not just your commission or your money, right?
Yeah, I think when you, I mean, in financial world, you're going to make money, in my opinion. You're going to earn it, but earn it the right way.
True.
That's right. And going back to your comment is, look at their holistic view of their financial situation. Don't put them in a situation where they're going to have to regret that decision. And that's what I mean by earlier, uncover those want or needs, so they really know what they need. You can't just go and show a house and right away done with it. Sometimes I say, guys, I'm at a point where I only show my clients 3 houses and I make a sale. But when I say this, I say it with all due respect. I already seen 50 houses for them. But when they're sending me those 50 houses based on the requirement, doesn't work for you, neighbor is not good. So what I'm doing, I'm vetting it out. But as a new agent, what you do, oh my God, this person is the only person I have. Let me show you 50 houses. So you just confuse them.
That's true.
Know their want and need and look at their requirements and look at their affordability. And based on that, kind of work on it.
But I think that only comes with experience.
Of course it does. But it also, a client cannot walk all over you. You know, and if you're listening, my clients, you know me already and you probably have the respect. But client has the best right, of course. But if a client wants to see this versus this, show them both. And tell them next time, now you know why I'm not showing you this type of houses. And that's when you make a statement. Instead of showing 50 houses, they still want to see this, show them.
True.
But it's like when you watch Property Brothers. They show you the worst house and the best house. You want the best house? This is what it's going to cost you. Do you have the money? Can you puff off that money? No, you don't. Let's look into this.
True.
So I'm just giving you an analogy.
Yeah. And I was going to come back to my last question now.
Yeah.
That is using the AI technology in the real estate world. I watched a video where AI is making a cold call on behalf of the real estate agent.
How was that call?
That call almost felt like a real person.
Amazing.
And the way they were having the conversation, how smart the AI is, I was surprised by it.
Okay.
But how do you think these technologies real estate agents can use in the future to benefit their business?
I think if not, people are already using, to be honest. They're adapting to this technology. And I think if you don't, so you're fooling yourself. Excuse my language. If you're an old-fashioned guy just like me, you may or may not want to appreciate this, but you have to enhance this somehow in your full business. I would say this, it actually will make you better. It will make you more sophisticated, more efficient, and your client will love you. So as long as you can do it the right way, incorporate this in I'm not so sure about the calls, to be honest, because majority of my clients know my voice. And kids are making a cold calls is a different case. But my clients would never get a robot calls. It's going to be my voice, my authentic voice. But what I mean by if you're trying to prospect, of course, use that to your best advantage. Know your market, and your AI should know that market as well. But give you a simple example. If I have thoughts in my head and I want to respond back to my client with a big explanation and I don't have the time to write, I will just send to ChatGPT, let it do my thing, their thing, send it back to me, how it's supposed to be written, and very well written. But it is my job or my admin job to still review the whole email before it sends.
Yeah.
Because AI is not human. There's a touch handshaking that will never be replaced by AI.
Never.
So what I mean by, this is already making me better because now I don't have to spend an hour to write that email and think about legality and this and that. I can say, do this for me and it will send me this and then I will still review it, but it will be, instead of an hour, it will be 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I got to save 45 minutes. Now I can use that 45 minutes to do a follow-up calls or touch base with my clients.
That's true.
So like, that's what I mean by like incorporating in your business, whichever works for you. But I think it's never going to take away our business. The realtor will exist
100%,
because there's a human
100%.
touch to this.
Yeah.
Right. But I think
it's an emotional business.
it is an emotional business, and it's a business where people looking for empathy and sympathy. AI will be able to give you to a degree, and that will be stuck, right? But I think in the real estate world, we better start utilizing it more so, but utilize the right way, like I said. And I think it's gonna make us better, make us more efficient, and I think we will look better in our clients' eyes as well.
Yep. No, thank you so much for all the insights and answering all my questions. It was very nice speaking with you and very nice seeing you today.
It is a long podcast. Is it more than 30 minutes? I don't know, but
I think so.
it is more than about that. Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and to the viewers, I think the majority comments that you hear in this podcast, if you're hearing the full thing, just remember this: none of this comments come from, or the statement comes from any binding agreement. It's all from the experience. So you may have a different perspective about it, and I would absolutely want to hear that as well, because at the end of the day, I'm just a human. I just given you my perspective, and like I said earlier, my mom always says, 10 fingers, we all think differently, and we all have a different angle of thinking. So that being said, I appreciate the opportunity, brother.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.